Working Interferences is intended for mature audiences. Since the hosts never grew up, someone needs to be the adult. Welcome to Working Interferences with Josh and Lance, the dental advice podcast for the average dentist. Here is Josh and Lance.
Bros, what is up? Welcome to the Working Interferences podcast, a dental advice show. I'm Josh Walston.
And I am Lance Timmerman.
We're back, Lance.
I know, it's weird.
Took a little hiatus.
Extended leave.
A little bit. You know, I got a rundown from an email with a rundown from the company that hosts our feed.
Yeah?
And we did 51 episodes last year.
It's not bad.
Taking a couple weeks off during the holidays, not a bad deal. And it was really more of how the holidays fell, right? Because the Wednesday thing...
I hate that. That was bullshit.
Yeah. The way that we release, the Wednesday thing was just a real thorn in the side.
It really is inconvenient, for sure.
Yeah, so we took a couple weeks off. We're back. We got some good shit for you today. So
I don't know about good shit, but...
No, well, yeah, I mean, it's relative, of course. I had a call today with 3M.
Oh?
Because I'm speaking at their national sales meeting to the salespeople about just sort of what's going on with composites in the market and what's out and kind of what's buzzing and all that kind of stuff. What different companies are doing.
And they don't know?
I guess they want someone else to tell us something from it's sort of like kids behave better when their parents aren't there kind of deal, right? So I guess the salespeople absorb it when it's someone different, not 3M.
Okay.
So today is the 6th.
Is it? Okay.
We were recording this on the 7th.
Okay.
January 7th.
Okay.
And the person who started the call said, Happy New Year.
Uh-huh.
I feel like January 7th is the last day that we can say Happy New Year.
Okay, because I said it to all my patients today. So tomorrow, it's right. I can't. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because at some point it's February 12th, and it's like, come on, it's a new year for a week.
Okay.
After that, I hate the person I'll see in the middle of February at Seattle Study Club supposedly. It's like, hey, Happy New Year.
That's true. I'd never thought about the shelf life of the well wishes.
It's a week.
Okay,
it's a week. Bitch, it was
declared.
New Year's 6 weeks ago. It's not. It's not New Year's anymore. It's been 6 weeks. There's been a whole entire menstrual cycle has happened since then. We can't be saying this because otherwise we'll be saying it in November.
Yeah.
It's it's got to stop. And January 7th's the day.
Okay, it has been spoken. This is Josh has spoken. You watch The Mandalorian?
I have, and
I have spoken.
I love it. I am anxious, like everyone else in America, anxiously awaiting a Baby Yoda action figure.
Hell yeah.
Andrea had to tell me about something. We were walking the dogs the other day. This was like
the
2
yo-yo
days
thing?
ago. No. What?
The yo-yo?
No, we're not. We weren't Smothers Brothers. Are those guys still alive, the Smothers Brothers?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, God. It's just unfortunate. I have a story about the Smothers Brothers. I'll tell you in just a second.
Okay.
And it was it was January 5th, and people still had Christmas lights up.
Okay.
And I don't know about you. Yeah, I don't know about you, but literally, once Christmas is over, I literally cannot get that shit down fast enough.
A day after, the 26th, we had it all gone.
That would be my ideal. Andrea wants to wait until the 1st. Okay.
All right.
These bastards, still bastards have it on today. She said that people have to wait for something called the Epiphany. Are you familiar with this?
No.
I think it's a Catholic thing because she grew up Catholic.
All right.
There's no such thing as Catholic. There's only former Catholic. That's sort of what I've learned.
Okay.
And so the Epiphany, I guess, is when the wise men showed up. So you're supposed to leave your decorations up until then.
So the nativity scenes are all just bullshit because the
wise men are all there.
They're there.
And that shit they weren't there on Christmas. They were like a week and a half later.
Assholes. All right.
Yeah. It's just like these three dudes, these random guys come rolling up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, my wife just had a baby. My wife just had a baby. We are not accepting guests right now, especially guests that we don't know. Leave your gift like Amazon Prime on the doorstep and leave.
I mean, the kid still got that cheese shit all over him. You know, at least let us wash him off.
And I have to have a serious conversation with my wife. Because we have never consummated this relationship.
Yeah, by the
However, we now have a child. And three dudes are just rolling up like, yo, what's up, baby? Like, what? No. This is not okay. You cannot blow up my wife Mary's phone when there's some questionable circumstances about this baby who, you know, I'm not sure about, and I have some questions, and this makes me question it even more.
Absolutely.
And that dude has gold? Come on.
Yeah.
Really weird.
For sure.
Really weird. Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
Well, I tried. Because I'm just not good at the follow through. So like,
yeah, no one is.
Well, I mean, this is bad. I'm gonna stop swearing, and I fucked up by 12:01.
Yeah.
So that was out. And I'm like, you know, well, fuck drinking, but about 12:02, that was already out.
Well, yeah, I mean, you ring in the new year with a glass of champagne.
So, yeah, the resolution.
That's a January 2nd resolution right there, not New Year's, if you're going to do that one.
Yeah, wait till after the hangover.
Nothing's worse than at the grocery store, like the week between Christmas and New Year when they have the, like, fake sparkling juice out, like, all over the grocery store, all on the end caps and all that stuff. And you just look at this, like, what sad, depressed person... Like, oh no, I certainly cannot have any alcohol on New Year's Eve. I must purchase this sparkling cider. Like, man, come on, like, jump off a building.
Yeah, go kill yourself.
I think both of us hate the sort of New Year, New Me bullshit.
Totally.
And I'm not even on Facebook, and I still am seeing it all over Instagram. And again, it's just like, in 2020, we going to be rocking with men we love and having and being valued and having positive body vibes. And it's like, you're the same losers that posted this shit last year. Like at the same exact day. So just like memory popped up in your feed and you just like scratch over the 2019 and put 2020 and just resubmit. And ain't nothing changed. Like I hate that garbage. New Year, New Me is garbage.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I did make a couple of New Year's resolutions. I just want to run them by you.
Okay.
I think my first one is I really would like to be a less generous lover.
Oh, good luck with that.
I think I'm too generous of a lover, Lance. It's become a real problem.
I wouldn't know.
There's it's too much time there's a lot of time being invested, and it's
a commitment. Yeah.
Well, and like, you know, it's like being said, like, hey, you know, like, wow, like that's really above and beyond. You know, you don't need to go to all those heights, you know, for that kind of pleasure. I don't need like a 10-to-1 orgasm ratio, man. So, I think I need to be less generous of a lover,
and less like Sting and the tantric whole thing.
Exactly, and, that's exactly correct.
Yeah,
exactly correct.
My record was only 3.5 hours, and I just couldn't quite. I mean,
you started getting cramps. So you needed to get an IV.
Well, you got to hydrate. The problem is hydration, and I'm just not into that.
Lance, out on hydration.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Hot take.
Just not my bag.
We're still at one point. We're going to get into the hot take of Keen is better than Coldplay.
Okay,
it will happen. Next was I need to spend more time on my phone. I didn't spend enough time on my phone in 2019.
Well,
5 hours a day is not enough. I need more.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I mean, you probably, cutting out Facebook really helped.
Yeah, you would think. You would think the time would go down. It really didn't.
How's this? I was trying to avoid, Facebook and frivolous things, and the only thing I could do was find stupid games to play on my phone.
That's what like I'm into this stupid Texas Hold'em game that it just is. That's just hammering my time, and it's really stupid. It's really stupid. So yeah, spend more time on my phone.
Okay.
I think I need to say tough look for my guy more. I don't think I say it enough.
No, it really just no. I miss it.
Those are the 3 resolutions I have for the year. New year, new me, Lance.
Yeah, new year. I was going to, I thought I'd, maybe add kids to the practice, but first day back, I set one on fire.
That's, tough look for my guy.
So that was out.
Kids to the practice is tough. I had a kid today.
Did you?
13 years old.
Is that still a kid?
I mean, well, you tell me after I tell you what happened. Orthodontist wants me to extract C and H. They're just holding up 6 and 11.
Okay.
And no root really left. But they just haven't come out on their own.
Okay.
So 13-year-old boy.
Right.
13.
Okay.
13.
All
when
right.
I was 13, you couldn't. I was so deep into puberty at 13 that literally I could, if there was any chance that I would go to some place where there was a woman, I was 100% in.
You're splashing
just
the
to
high
see a
karate
woman
everywhere and after
exactly.
Yeah.
So 13-year-old comes in, needs tissue, coronal remnants extracted on CNH, freaks out when he sits in the chair, so we put him on nitrous, freaks out on the nitrous and says, quote, "I feel like I'm going to die." Finally get him kind of calmed down. We have this super strong prescription topical, rubbed that everywhere, gave him a little bit of Articaine, and then he freaked out because his lip felt funny. This kid's 13.
Jesus.
I'm like, dude, I've done this on 3-year-olds without any problem, without a freaking tear. And those teeth have roots. So I just stopped. I'm like, you're going to the oral surgeon to get fully IV sedated for 2 coronal remnants. Enjoy your $1,500 bill because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have you fill my office with screams. It's just not going to happen. So, the adding kids to your practice, I don't know if it's going to bring you all that much because it's sealants and coronal remnant extractions and 2 surface fillings. It's not production that you probably want to be cranking around with.
Yeah, that's just not my bag.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't mind doing it on good kids. On good kids, it's fine.
Yeah,
and I did it.
That's the thing. They'll call and they say, "Hey, do you take kids?" And we'll say,
I take good ones.
Can they behave? And they're like, "Well, wait, what do you mean?" They're like, "Well, can they sit still and pay attention?" Well, no, that's why we're looking for. I mean, okay, you were referred to a pediatric dentist, so that doesn't mean come find me.
Right. Yeah. Why don't you find a freaking board-certified pediatric dentist?
Someone who actually wants to see your little brat.
Someone that can make it worthwhile by pumping enough drugs into them to make it to where it's not that big a deal.
Exactly. And maybe some balloon animals.
Speaking of the balloon animals. Speaking of the Smothers Brothers.
Practice builder. Okay, yeah.
Huge practice builders. So this past weekend, I went to Los Angeles to hang out for the weekend with our good buddy, Mike Totola.
Yeah.
And we worked on my VOD lecture.
You have VOD?
Program, which I do have VOD. It's a little itchy. And there's a weird red, sort of petechiae kind of looking rash. No.
Yeah. Try the balm.
I will rub it all over. So we worked on the VOD, and I'm doing some of the hair of old stuff and some new stuff. And so we worked on kind of the new stuff and just incorporating it all together. And so what we do is we'd write during the day, and then at night we had tickets to literally right next door to the hotel we stayed at is the famous Comedy Store. Cool. Which is the mecca of stand-up comedy. Awesome. And so over 2 days we saw Joe Rogan. Oh. Eliza Schlesinger, Whitney Cummings. Cool. Neil Brennan. Bobby Lee. Jeez. Who else am I leaving out? Duncan Trussell. And probably my personal favorite, Anthony Jeselnik. Nice. Who's the king of mean comedy. And I'll tell you the best Jeselnik joke that I heard in just a second. But the reason I remember the Smothers Brothers is because while you're waiting to get in, they have all the framed 8x10s of comedians who have done sets there all over the walls, in the kind of waiting room before you get in. Yeah. And it's Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Jerry Seinfeld, and right next to those is the Smothers Brothers. And I was like, which of these doesn't belong?
Yeah.
Like, the guy who revolutionized stand-up comedy, like the guys who revolutionized stand-up comedy in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s between Seinfeld, Rock, and Chappelle. And the two guys that can't stop playing with their fucking yo-yos for an hour. Like that's what they're known for. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Jeselnik had a joke, and listen, people, Jeselnik's stuff is very mean, okay? It's mean. He has a persona that it's just a persona. He says mean jokes.
Kind of like Gervais at the Golden Globes?
Yeah, but like at a whole nother level.
10X?
Yes, 10x. So the joke I'm about to tell you, I'm telling you, is grossly offensive.
Okay.
But it's in a comedy club, so you kind of can't get too offended by it.
That's right.
But he sets up the joke. He says, my cousin insisted on showing me his new tattoo the other day. He told me it was the Japanese symbol for awesome. I said, Kirk, it's a swastika. It's the German symbol for awesome. And it just slayed me so hard. I mean, that's kind of his deal is he sets up something that you think is going one way and then zags like the darkest way possible. Right. And it just kills me every time because I try to kind of see where it's going. And only about 10% of the time can I see where it's going, and that was one where that was not where I pictured it going at all.
Right,
so,
right.
If you get a chance to see Anthony Jeselnik on one of his Netflix specials, absolutely spectacular,
nice.
So spectacular. But he's not like a storytelling comedian. He's not like Dave Chappelle. You know, he's not like Neil Brennan. He's not like some of these guys who like tell like stories.
Okay.
His is just set up, punchline tag, set up, punchline tag, set up, punchline tag. So at the end of the deal, you just feel like you've been hammered like a speed bag because he's just speed bag punching you over and over and over and over. So I like both. I like both ways, and both are equally awesome. And I am much more identify with the storyteller perspective. That's kind of much more what I do when I speak. So the idea of just watching somebody do something that I can't do is just amazing. And he tried out some new stuff like that joke about his cousin's tattoo was new. And so I bet he's got another tag to add on to that hasn't been fully fleshed out yet. But to watch that process on these guys do new material. Eliza Schlesinger did this like 7-minute rant of just stream of consciousness that was so perfect that it sounded like she just hatched it out of her head, but I can tell by watching her stage movements and the way that she hit different words that it is very well rehearsed. And it was just incredibly awe-inspiring to watch her do that. She crushed when I saw her. Whitney Cummings crushed. I mean, these people were absolutely spectacular. I mean, it was literally like going to the gym to watch Michael Jordan work on his three-pointer.
I would imagine,
it was just absolutely spectacular. So if you're ever in LA and you ever get a chance to go to the original Comedy Store, it's on Sunset Boulevard.
Nice.
Freaking go.
Boom. I'm there.
Unbelievable. You know who Jeff Garlin is?
Yeah.
Jeff Garlin came out both nights we were there, said, I don't have an act, and just did crowd work for 20 minutes.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, it's hit or miss because crowd work's kind of hit or miss, but the balls to just get up on stage with nothing and just be like, well, I hope there's some assholes in the crowd, you know, that will be funny. And the second day we were there was this guy sitting in the front row that had a sling on his arm, and he's like front row center. And so every single person out asked him what happened. And he was a 50-year-old guy that broke his arm skateboarding. So it's just like, it was like the lowest of low hanging fruit, right?
Yeah.
And they just all went nuts on this guy, and it was fun to watch as the night went on.
Oh wow!
Because I also think they talk backstage like, "Hey, guy in the front row, 50-year-old guy broke his arm skateboarding
for sure."
So the later on people had skateboarding jokes as they walked out on stage. So good, so freaking good.
Nice.
Lance, this is an advice show.
It's a shitty one.
We answer your questions. We answer questions we find on all those neat little dental Facebook groups. We answer questions from Reddit. We strive to help dentists and dental team members with our own unique brand of advice. So please, we need your questions. They are the sustenance we crave. You can submit your questions to workinginterferences@gmail.com. Now, we don't want just any question, do we, Lance?
Nah, not this year.
We don't want a bunch of boring questions like, what's the best New Year's resolution? Because we all know that New Year, New Me is the best resolution ever. We want the questions that Gordon Christensen cannot answer. What do you think Gordon Christensen's New Year's resolution is?
Oh, God, that's a good question.
I bet it's to be a less generous lover.
I bet it is. I bet you guys that share that. You should make T-shirts.
Gordon and Josh, less generous lovers, 2020. Question 1. Reddit user Blue River 101 asks, isn't this very irresponsible of Invisalign? As I come to find out the hard way, Invisalign trays can have allergic reaction, and it must be abandoned. Yes, you can then try the hypoallergenic one, but that's not a sure deal either. It's made same material. The bottom line is that it's a known issue that they can have weird reactions. Then why don't they do or offer allergic reaction test? It can be as simple as wearing a zero tray before they make any changes to your teeth, like filing them. If there was a reaction, safely abandon them before your teeth are moved or filed. Otherwise, continue treatment. Fair enough? It seems like they don't even train dentists enough or tell them about these reactions, who then freely prescribe them in minor cases like mine as a silver bullet to fix everything. They apparently do this to push for more sales, and no worry at all if a patient had allergic reaction, who is 10 left in terrible situation I am. How could they get away with this? How come there are no consequences for them? Lance, how come there are no consequences for Invisalign?
Have I told you how much I hate people this year?
Not this year. That's time. We should number them.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Oh, God.
Did you know that people could be allergic to the Invisalign trays?
Actually, I didn't, but I assumed people can be allergic to just about everything.
Yeah, so people can be allergic to freaking anything.
Yeah. So, not specifically, but yeah, it was an assumed possibility, however rare.
I've never experienced it. Have you?
No.
I've never experienced anybody with an acrylic allergy.
I have.
You have?
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and so you tried.
Was it a complete patient? Was it an RPD patient? What was their...
No, actually, we were doing oral appliance sleep apnea, and so we ended up switching out to the Narval because it was a printed nylon instead of acrylic, and it seemed fine, but just kind of an inconvenience and pain in the ass to switch. They got all red mucosal tissues and their lips are puffy, and I thought she was full of shit, but she's a long-term patient that's been great for the many years, so you're like, oh, well, I guess it's real.
So you switched to Narval, which is Kevlar-ish?
Yeah.
Kevlar-ish?
Yeah.
It's coming to ABC this year.
Yeah.
The new sitcom Kevlar-ish.
Yeah, it's the one right after Blackish and then Mixed-ish. It's the Kevlar.
Mixed-ish. Just a bunch of bulletproof vests, bitching and moaning because the cops that wore them are sweaty assholes.
But teaching us some social issue, education awareness things. Yeah,
yeah. It's like complaining about how the cops that wear them only beat black kids, and like, hey, for one time, can we beat a white kid?
Exactly. With all the cop killers.
You think one of those Kevlar-ish vests, that's why they say Kevlar-ish, is because it's like, hey, these guys are assholes. We're going to let a bullet in every once in a while. We're Kevlar-ish.
Or it's kind of a Russian roulette. Everybody's suiting up, but one of them isn't really a Kevlar vest.
Oh, I like that.
So
it's
which one in the SWAT
string
team?
Cheese. There's just string cheese on the inside of it. We got to figure out which one is which.
Yeah.
So this person, what they really want is they want you to go through all the steps of Invisalign. So you get all your records, get your photos, get your scan or your impression, whatever you're doing. Get your Pano, submit all that shit through the Invisalign website or the Invisalign app. And get a ClinCheck. So work through the ClinCheck process, which for me is, even on the minor cases I do, it's usually 2 or 3 edits.
Right.
That I'm having to tell them, like, no, do this, add buttons here, do this, do that, whatever. They want you to, once you agree on that, to send you a zero tray that the patient wears, I guess, to make sure they're not allergic to it. And then, if that's okay, then you get the liner, the button attachment template, and then you do IPR. Because it sounds like that's what they're most concerned about. Is that they got IPR, they paid for Invisalign. Yeah. I'm assuming that's what they mean by filing teeth.
That was what I assumed too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they got everything. They had IPR, and now they can't finish. So it's just going to brackets. Like,
yeah. I mean, there's an alternative that won't do any of this. Your goal is straight teeth, right? Here's your solution.
Right. Yeah. And, I'm sure the dentistry funded them. I mean, Invisalign actually does have... So I had to call Invisalign the other day because I had a patient who had a hernia surgery. Mm-hmm. And, when they were doing the hernia surgery, they, nicked a nerve in the leg.
Ooh.
And it's the dude's leg kind of doesn't work so good right now and hasn't for 8 weeks. And so he was in the hospital for some time.
He walks in circles now.
Didn't have it. Yeah, exactly. He's peeing everywhere.
Little R. Kelly.
He didn't have his retainer, so he's in the hospital. And so he had some relapse, and his case had just expired on Invisalign. It was 5 years and 2 months. And so I called them, and they're like, yeah, absolutely, we'll open it up. You've got 60 days to resubmit. And every time I've called them and asked them for something like that, they've always said yes. So I guarantee that if this dentist calls Invisalign, they're going to get their money back. And therefore, if I get my lab feedback, I have no problem refunding your part if you don't finish, if it's something like this. If you're just a lazy ass and you started and got to tray 11 out of 30 and stopped, that's your own deal.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're getting your money back. So then just go to an orthodontist, get brackets and wires.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've never had it. Customer service with the Invisalign has always been great. So I'm making the same assumption that there will definitely be a fair resolution.
What this person, it sounds like they want that to be the blueprint. They want that to be
the standard.
What everybody gets. That's the standard of care.
Everybody gets a Clifford test? I don't think so.
What's a Clifford test? I don't know that. Is that a deep pull?
No. I think it's one of those things where a lot of those holistic dentists, though, before we do this, we got to make sure you're not allergic to anything. And then they I don't know if they do a DNA sample or what, but then it always comes back positive for something, is what I've been told. So
that's a bunch of garbage.
Yep. Don't fuck with my meridians.
I mean, that would be hey, listen.
That's your pull.
Bro, that's exactly right. Hey, bro, you need a gold crown on number 18. So what I'm going to do is before you come in for 6 weeks, I'm going to bond a little bracket of gold to number 18 or number 19 to see if you get a reaction.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because of something that 0.01% of the population has.
Right.
That's dumb.
Exactly.
It kind of reminds me of the chair. Do you remember the dental chair weight question?
Oh,
and it was way back. It was on the Tara Hardin episode. And the person was like, why don't all the chairs support up to 900 pounds or whatever? It's because what percentage of the freaking population needs that? Shoot for the freaking middle. Let's stop shooting for the extremes. It just seems like that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
When you look at Blue River 101's Reddit history.
Okay. Nothing but a
subreddit
bitch.
Dentistry. Just you wait. Subreddit Dentistry. Worried about teeth not getting straight. Subreddit Dentistry. Recovery from abandoning Invisalign. Subreddit of Dentistry. Removing Invisalign hooks. Help teeth move to original position. Subreddit of Dentistry. Isn't this very controversial what my dentist told me? Subreddit of Invisalign. There's a freaking Invisalign subreddit.
Oh, wow.
Are there any between Invisalign alternatives? Subreddit of Dentistry. Path of recovery from abandoning Invisalign. Subreddit of Dentistry. I feel my dentist mistreated me, ruined my teeth.
Oh my God.
Subreddit of Medical. Very unusual response to Invisalign. Please help. Subreddit of Invisalign. My plan to conquer the fears of Invisalign. Subreddit of Invisalign. Did anyone have a positive impact on speech due to braces? Subreddit of Dentistry. Dropping Invisalign. Second ortho option. Subreddit of Dentistry. Do you brush twice a day or once? Subreddit of Invisalign. Does the front teeth has good grab power after Invisalign? Subreddit of Orthodontics. Does teeth likely to stay more permanently if they are moved less? Subreddit of dentistry. Trust dentist or ortho on bite alignment issues. Subreddit of dentistry. Do I have misaligned bite? If so, what's the name of this bite? What's wrong with it? Subreddit of Invisalign. How difficult is the commitment with retainers? Subreddit of orthodontics after abandoning Invisalign. Subreddit of Invisalign. After I found this interesting article, how Invisalign can help fix your face with aging. Has anyone seen noticeable difference with looking good in age? Subreddit of Invisalign. Has anyone stopped wearing retainers and still doing okay?
It sounds like
Subreddit of dentistry.
Rain Man wanted to see Wapner. Just there was Jesus.
I am not joking when I'm saying there are 40 more.
Oh God. Wow. That's
And this is the person that wants to dictate.
Standard of
So all of those posts, karma of 37. Now, I have, let's see how many posts. 15 posts total. The vast majority of them in Texas Rangers subreddit.
Okay.
And some in watches. Karma, 2,500. So just hammering the dental subreddits with your Invisalign questions does not seem to be the way to get a great karma score. So
does seem counterintuitive.
I really wish that there was some sort of way that we could figure out who this person is so that we could flag them.
Yeah.
So like if this person walks to my office, I do not want to know. I do not want to treat this person.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unfortunately, when you find people like this, you're already too far in to really back out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the vast majority of the time, my what's the version? You know what? Like when someone says they're gaydar, you know what they mean by that, right?
Yeah.
What's like the gaydar for a shitty patient?
Oh,
we need to at some point. We need to workshop that.
Yeah,
what that should be called. A PTAR. Something like that, PITAR, like your radar for PITA patients.
Yeah.
Your PTAR, I'd say 90% of the time my PTAR is pretty on.
Yeah.
This time, or you just never know. But I hope I would get this person before.
Yeah, it's a tough look.
That is a very tough look. Hey, Lance. You ever have any empty chair time in your office?
Far too much.
We all do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, patients cancel. They don't give us enough time to fill the appointments. And we're left scrambling to try to find someone to fill that appointments. And a lot of times we can't. Mm-hmm. And what I have found in my practice is one tool that helps us fill those schedules, like especially those short-term openings on the hygiene side for new patients, is Schedule Widget. Schedule Widget is a little plugin that goes on your website, and it allows new patients to schedule right from your website. So anytime we have a cancellation for a new patient appointment that week, we throw it up on Schedule Widget. And what we found is about a third to half the time those appointments get filled.
Nice.
It's not 100%, but it's better than nothing. And so we have had really great success with Schedule Widget. We've booked 87 patients with Schedule Widget in 2019.
Holy crap.
That's 87 new patients that found my practice after hours, on weekends, or people that just didn't want to pick up the phone to call us. We give them the option to book their new patient appointments online. And it's been great for our practice. The good news is, Lance, is that it's free for dentists.
Holy crap. That's my favorite price.
That's the best. That's the best price. There's not a better one. And maybe Schedule Widget paying you.
That was where I was going. Yeah.
To put patients in there. But that's then becomes
it's a bad business model, but yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work so well. ScheduleWidget.com, free for dentists. And get this. Have you ever heard of the dental insurance called Emeritus? If you go to the Emeritus Dental Insurance, find a provider webpage.
Okay.
Dentists who are signed up for Schedule Widget, patients can actually book their appointments directly on the Emeritus Find a Provider page.
Wow.
Really cool. So you're going to start seeing that in a lot more places. Stella Life Healing Products has that, and you're going to start seeing that in a lot more places.
Okay.
Some implant companies coming on board, some other dental insurance companies. So this is going to make it really easy for prospective new patients to book their new patient appointments for you. Stand out from the dentist that's across the street. ScheduleWidget.com, promo code Josh. Get going today. Question 2, Massive Meltdown asks, question for dentists about post-mortem work. Do dentists do work on corpses after death, or can the funeral people just mask the mouth so it doesn't appear to be missing any teeth, if any? Thanks.
Wow.
Lance, you ever roll on over to the
morgue?
The morgue,
on Friday.
What's another? The funeral home, the mortuary.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they call them a morgue anymore.
Well, I think they still have a morgue, but the morgue is more like in the hospital, at the place you go before the funeral home.
Yeah. Ooh. I guess that is a medical examiner.
Yeah.
Guess it depends on how you died.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got some friends that work in funeral homes.
And are they like on the embalming side, that kind of deal? What do they do?
I think they're a part of a lot of it. It sounds like their career is a little like all encompassing. They're part of all of it, and including helping to run the actual funeral. Like they'll greet people at the door and stack chairs.
Yeah, so
it's
my limited knowledge of funeral homes come from 2 television shows.
Okay.
6 Feet Under and The Haunting of Hill House. That's it. So everything I know is from one of those 2 shows.
Okay.
So I would imagine that it's total bullshit and that there's probably, way different stuff to it.
Probably.
But I don't know.
Probably.
Have you ever heard the urban, and this is by far an urban legend, I think.
Okay.
Reach out to us if this is not an urban legend, if you've ever done this.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the urban legend about like dental student needs a denture credit and is like working on a denture on a patient and the patient dies? So like the dental student and the pros faculty like go to the funeral home and deliver the denture and the student like still gets credit for it.
I've never heard that.
Okay, so that story's been floating around my dental school for years.
I was tempted though. I was doing an all-on-4 on a patient and she died right before delivery, and I was thinking, shit.
Those suckers are integrated then, dude. Just go and engage those.
Right,
they're ready to roll.
I was going to go to the funeral home to like swap out the temporary to put the final in.
Hell yeah, bro.
So that I can, keep the... Because she prepaid. I don't want to refund anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Give her what she deserves. She can take it to the afterlife.
Uh-huh.
Was she getting cremated? Because I don't know. I mean, obviously acrylic would burn.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if zirconia would burn. I mean, it centers.
Yeah, I don't know.
It reminds me of, do you remember in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade?
I do.
You remember when the guy drinks out of the wrong chalice?
Uh-huh.
And he just like ages and like he's just left to dust and like the dust blows. There's just like the Nazi. There's the to quote Anthony Jeselnik, the German symbol for awesome left. So if that happened to your patient
when he chose poorly,
he chose poorly. If they had their zirconia hybrid in, would it just be the zirconia hybrid and just like the dust blowing over the zirconia hybrid? I feel like it would be.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's an urban legend that floated around our dental school forever, but no one could attribute it to any particular student or faculty member, and they still got their credit and they graduated. That's a weird delivery appointment.
It is. That would be awkward.
This sounds dumb, and I've been to a few funerals in my life. Just by you being a little bit older than me, you've probably been to more.
Maybe.
Have you ever seen like an open casket funeral where the corpse is smiling?
Yeah. My grandpa had kind of a smile. It wasn't like a big old toothy grin.
Not like teeth smiling, right?
No. It was a smirk.
Their mouths are always closed.
Yeah. His mouth was closed, had a kind of a smirk.
If they were smiling like with a big smile, it would be weird, right?
Uh-huh.
So what the hell are we supposed to do at a funeral?
Yeah, exactly.
A friend of mine who I went to high school with, who's a patient of mine, her name is Emily, and Emily's grandmother was a patient of mine, and she died on Thanksgiving. And so Emily said, like, after she died at the hospital, they were coming to, like, you know, whatever, take her wherever they do. I guess take her down to the morgue.
In the morgue, yeah.
And Emily had to put her dentures in so that she, like, had them when she went down to the morgue, so that when she made it over to the funeral home or whatever, she had them. And so she was telling me, like, that was a traumatic experience for her. She almost called me to go and do it. But, you know, it's like, come on, like, really? Make me drive all the way down to the hospital. I would have done it
in full rigor.
Damn.
So you're sitting there with both hands trying to pry those jaws apart.
I don't have like a weird fear of dead bodies or anything, but I also don't particularly want to hang out.
Well, it's not a fun Friday night, that's for sure.
No.
No.
And I feel like, I mean, you said you had some friends that are funeral directors, but I mean, are they weird friends or are they like totally normal, well-adjusted friends?
One's totally normal, well-adjusted and cool. The other, love her to death, totally. She was into goth and stuff in the high school, so she's got a certain weird streak to her.
So, on brand. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a place I'd want to hang.
No.
So, someone call, like, even if you had like a relationship with a funeral home and they said, hey, got one broken front tooth, can you come fix it in the funeral? Like, yeah, not
happening.
I kind of feel the same way about funeral, or about nursing homes.
Yeah.
You know, like there's always a business in every big city that some practice is like a mobile practice for nursing homes. And, man, that's not what I want to do.
No.
God bless people who do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see the need and you know, I feel bad.
Yeah, but it's, I also see the need for like, you know, a lot of different services.
Laxatives.
And it does, like, I don't want, I see the need for colorectal surgeons, and this doesn't necessarily mean that I want to be involved in that. So no funeral home work for either of us.
No.
Thank God. Reddit user Mother of Dragons 525 asks, can gum scar? I had a popcorn husky removed from under my gum in August. There's still a scar there. Will my gum ever heal, or is it normal to see a little red mark there? It looks like an earring home that's covered up. Thanks.
God, I hate when I text. Use my thumbs on my phone.
They're using T9, if you remember old school flip phone texting.
Yeah,
that was the deal.
Yeah, Lance,
can gum scar?
Yeah.
Can they scar from a popcorn husky?
I have not. I'm going to put a maybe on that one.
Yeah, I mean, is that the mascot for the University of Washington? The popcorn husky?
King Redo. Yep.
I could see how a husky could leave a scar on your gums.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're trying to French kiss that bitch. It's going to...
Was it... Shouts to our guy, Michael Keller. Was it Mike Keller? One of our friends' daughter got bit by a dog.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I think it was Michael Keller.
I think you're right.
Shouts to Mike Keller. That husky left a scar.
Yeah.
Not funny.
No.
Can a popcorn husky leave a scar, though? Have you ever had popcorn so good it cuts your mouth? I guess I never have. I
guess not. But I could see getting like a husk in the sulcus, maybe lacerate the sulcus. You know.
Yeah, but I can't imagine it scarring.
No.
Something.
Yeah, because usually when it could scar, it's like at the mucogingival area.
Yeah, or it's like when somebody did a semilunar incision for like an apico, something like that. Yeah. That'll scar.
Mm-hmm.
I've decided I want to get a Harry Potter scar in my gums.
Ooh.
I'm going to go to a periodontist and see if they can do that for me.
Okay.
Just that lightning bolt bad boy.
That would be awesome.
Right up between 8 and 9. And then that way, every dentist who ever sees me from here on out will say, oh, he's the chosen one.
That would be so cool.
He's the boy who lived through dental school. I don't know. I don't know what else I could have lived through. I've always thought that, and hear me out here, Lance.
Okay, listening.
You go to the movies. You go see Rise of Skywalker.
Uh-huh.
You get a bucket of popcorn.
Yeah.
You're an hour and 45 minutes through nonsense trying to figure out what the hell planet you're on.
Uh-huh.
Who are all these Sith people that all of a sudden were gone for 40 years are now all of a sudden back, and now they have ships? And there's just a bunch of weird shit going on that's kind of unexplainable and sort of doesn't fit with the story. And you got a freaking popcorn husky caught like on the lingual at number 30. Why do they not tape a toothpick to the bottom of the movie theater popcorn thing? Because you're stuck in there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And what are you doing the whole time? You're playing with your tongue and your fingernail trying to get that out the whole freaking time.
Yeah.
And so you miss like, oh, what is this Sith Wayfinder MacGuffin that seems weird?
Yeah.
And I can't explain it. Oh, I missed all of that talk about it because I was trying to dig out the husky.
That'll do it.
So I think that should be kind of part of the bucket. Tape a toothpick to the bottom of it. I'm going to need it.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That should be a kind of a standard thing. I feel like that should be. So then you end up using your straw from your drink and like you chew it flat. And you try to get the corner up to get that husky out, and it just never works. I want a toothpick.
Yeah. There's no substitute.
There's like a Fiesta like street fair event here in San Antonio called Taste of Northside, and they always have like their roasted corn, roasted cob of corn or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you get that, they hand you like one of those floss picks. It's beautiful, like great, because I'm going to need it.
Hell yeah!
And like, where the hell else am I going to get this out here? All these booths of sausage on a stick and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Thinking ahead, movie theaters need to do that because of the popcorn husky. That being said, I've never freaking seen a piece of popcorn leave a scar.
No, I have not.
I think it's oral melanoma.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's not a tumor.
That's the one thing. It's not a tumor. Let's look at Massive Meltdown. Ugh. Cashing checks after death.
Jeez. Cool.
I have a weird question. If I write a predated check to a designated person, can my estate executor of my will give it to them to cash after I am dead? Say I prepay funeral expenses and write out a check for full or partial payment for prepaid services. Can my estate simply hand over the check and have that paid for without having access to paperwork, time delays, etc., to my estate account? Or should I pay it in full right away to eliminate the hassle? I'm thinking the longer it stays in my account, the better. Thanks. Basically, how do I liquefy a certain amount specifically for funeral expenses so whoever is unlucky enough to have to deal with it won't have to dish out a cent, assuming this is how I want it all to be done? Whether it is a good idea or not is another debate. Bro, what do you care?
Yeah. You're dead.
You're going to be dead.
You don't give a shit.
Who gives a shit? It's not my fucking problem at that point. I don't give a shit. Fucking throw me out with the garbage. I don't care. You don't have to spend $10,000 on a headstone, and I don't need any of that. I don't cremate me, spread my ashes out at the adult video megaplex. I don't give a shit. I'm dead. Who gives a shit? Certainly don't go do any dentistry on me at the funeral home.
Yeah.
That's really the only other Reddit question that they had.
What about teeth whitening? Can you bleach
holy
dead teeth?
Shit. Leaving, okay, this is wild.
Okay.
We're running up on time, but we cannot leave this.
Okay.
They have 3 questions. The one about post-mortem work, cashing checks after death. This is in their own subreddit. They made their own subreddit. Leaving a legacy of words on Reddit is my way of writing goodbye notes because I have no one to say goodbye to. Holy shit.
Wow. That's
oh my God.
That's a Black Keys song. Lonely Boy. Sorry.
Wow. I'm not going to read this whole thing,
okay.
But this thing starts with these words. Widowed, exhausted, torn, broken, socially isolated, wanting desperately for my therapist and psychiatrist to give a shit enough to help me feel life can get better, but getting or feeling the opposite in return. That is the toughest thing I've read this year, Lance, and I don't want to read any more of that.
Yeah. Time to move on.
There is a weird theme line running through this dude's Reddit history. And now that I see the username is Massive Meltdown.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's a tough look for us, Lance. I maybe should have done a little bit of digging on this before.
Maybe.
Because that's a real downer, bro.
It sure is.
There's nothing I hate more than like anytime the topic of, and I don't know, nothing. It's nothing that I like roll my eyes at more. Is that anytime I see anything on Reddit that mentions the word suicide at all, some asshole has to come in and be like, the suicide prevention hotline number is 1-800 blah 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 blah. Like, I get it. Like, I'm sure, like, do you have to be that wet? I mean, it just is such like a kind of goody two shoes thing to like drop in and say, like, oh, you dropping that into this weird thread on some crazy indie emo band's subreddit is like, that's the thing that's going to make somebody go get help. Like, no, like your post about the suicide hotline is not going to make somebody go get help. Anyway.
Yeah.
Off my soapbox. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry, Massive Meltdown. Yeah. Hang in there, bro.
No. That wrong. Poor choice. Don't hang.
Hang it. Oh, yeah, no. Cool it out, bro. I don't know what else to say. What is better?
Oh, God, I don't know. Chill is how kind of think of the morgue.
Don't Epstein yourself, bro.
Right.
Real quick. What do you think? Did Epstein hang himself right now?
Fuck no.
You don't? I'm like 50-50.
Yeah, it's no. And I'm going to preemptively say this: Ricky Gervais did not kill himself either.
Yes, if he turns up dead, that's a real problem. I watched the 60 Minutes on it, and
see, I didn't watch that. I listened to the podcast where like 6 episodes on Wondery on the mysterious Mr. Epstein. It didn't really go into the death part. It was more of just who the fuck.
Okay, well then I need to listen to that. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I really just don't know. There's stuff either way.
Yeah.
There's sides of it either way. Man, the government just sucks. Because like, all you got to do is just keep this bastard alive, and you can't do it. And it just seems like anytime one of these things happen,
one job.
There's all this other weird stuff that kind of happens on the periphery. Like JFK, you can like deep dive on all this crazy shit that happened. RFK, same thing. And like this, there's like these little weird things here and there. And it's just like, I don't know if those weird coincidences just exist everywhere and we don't see them because we don't dive in and spend millions of man hours dissecting every little detail of every event that happens. And maybe those just like weird coincidences and inconsistencies and things like that are just everywhere and we just don't ever notice them until something like this happens. I don't know. Yeah. But like the 60 Minutes thing had Dr. Michael Baden, who is like, I don't know, I guess he's a famous forensic pathologist.
Okay.
I don't know if he's like John Coyce, famous forensic pathologist, or Josh Brower, famous forensic pathologist. I don't know if he's good or bad. I just don't know. And so like he's talking about how the hyoid bone had 3 breaks in it and he's never seen a hanging that had that. But I don't know, man. Like, weird shit happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping that Massive Meltdown doesn't do that. We agree on that, right?
I think we would. Yeah, we agree.
Don't Epstein yourself, bro. I'm going to say, do you have a song?
I do.
Is it your turn? Is it my turn? I can't remember. I think it's your turn.
I got a song.
Okay, good. Let me hit the end, and then you can hit me with your song.
All right.
Hey, dudes, share this with your friends. You got friends who think Epstein killed himself? Share this with them. You got friends that don't think Epstein killed himself? Share this with them. Obviously, the very last thing we talked about at the end of the show is what the whole show's about, because that's what's in my memory at the moment. But share this with your friends. I'm sure you have a demented friend you could pass this on to. Rate and review. Lance, what's your favorite number?
Big fan of 5.
Huge fan of 5. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify. If you're flicking through Podbean, flick 5 stars. Hit us up on the web, workinginterferences.com. Hit us up on all of the social bullshits. Facebook, Working Interferences with Josh and Lance, and Funny Shit for dentist and dental team members. Twitter at Winterferences, Instagram at Winterferences. Lance can be found on Instagram at drtimmermandmd. I can be found on Instagram at Joshua Austin DDS. Mash that follow button. Lance, tell me about your song.
I don't. It's just a song I like. It's Weezer has a new album that's going to be released soon, but the one song in the pre-release is "The End of the Game," and so it's just kind of a fun little ditty to start the year with.
Now, just out of like devil's advocate here, Weezer isn't like this isn't their last album or anything like that, right?
Yeah, you never know. But
that makes me sad to think
the
about.
name of the album is called Van Weezer, and it looks like
okay.
And the song sounds very Van Halen like.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that sort of the deal?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm cool with that. So I just, when, the end of the game makes me think like, oh my, this is like they're breaking up or whatever.
I get you. Yeah, no, none of that.
It says here, the AV Club writer Gwen Inhat wrote, for those who prefer their Weezer less mellow, more rocking, it's the band's best song in years. If the rest of Van Weezer sounds just as joyously rocking as this keg stand soundtrack, it could make Pinkerton an even more distant memory. This is the kind of music the Sign of the Devil was made for. So enjoy.
Uh-huh.
I like that sentence, Lance.
Uh-huh.
I like that sentence. Awesome. So enjoy The End of the Game by Weezer. Welcome to 2020. And seeing as how it is still January 7th for another 90 minutes, uh-huh. Happy New Year. Now never say that shit again for the rest of the year. For Lance Timmerman, this is Josh Austin. Peace. Stay fresh, cheese bags.